Hello ladies and gents, this is the recording class for HTML training. Let's get started. First notes on this subject I have is what's being used to make these HTML videos. Basically I'm using Microsoft PowerPoint as you see here, Microsoft Encoder Expressions 4, that op. I'm using Chrome version 23.01271.64 for my browser for display of the HTML code. Also, I'm using Notepad 6.2. Everything is being recorded at 800 by 600 resolution with a mid-range volume setting, so you can hear everything. All sections will be kept small to make them easy to review. So basically, you can review them and work with them however you decide. The index and everything will be indexed and titled in a numbering system that allow quick lookup 001, 00, so on and so forth. So it's totally alphanumeric because some computers will, or some versions of the operating system will put, if you put 1, 2, 3, 4, it won't put it in order on your drive, so I'm putting it in the alphanumeric order so it finds everything. And all sections will be posted to YouTube, so it'll be available there. It'll be available for registered users on the Replace Paper site, so you can download it if you want. Like I was saying, they'll be able to download it, and plus there'll also be some text files and the PowerPoint videos that I use to make this. If I get time, I'll make some quizzes and tests on that Replace Paper site also. Let's start this introduction off with what is HTML? What does the letters HTML stand for? Hypertext Markup Language. Pretty simple. Hyper in a computer terminology generally means to jump around, not to move in a linear fashion. Older technology generally executed in order, so that everything had to go in a certain order, and it had to work a certain way. The hyper term generally means that you can jump around, and that's what you do in the web. You jump around. Text, that's pretty self-explanatory. Markup is what you're doing with the text. You're assigning it attributes to make it larger, smaller, so on and so forth. Put bullets in, whatever. Now, in markup, that doesn't only mean text, but initially it meant text. Now it means there's videos and everything else you can do with it, but the term started and it's stuck. Language, it's a programming language. It truly is a language. I mean, it's a scripting language, but it truly is a language. Wikipedia's definition of HTML is hypertext markup language is the main markup language for displaying web pages and other information that can be displayed in a web browser. Pretty simple. That's their definition of it. Different people say it's different things, but all it is HTML is what everybody uses to bring up all the web pages. Now a quick history on HTML. Yeah, nobody wants a history lesson, but everybody always asks it anyway. So basically in 1980, physicist Tim Berners-Lee proposed and prototyped Inquire, a system for CRN researchers to use when they share documents. This was the start of the web in HTML. CRN was a group of basically a European organization studying high-energy particle physics, now called European Laboratory for Particle Physics. So basically HTML got started with the physics. Now it's after that it basically went further, and Mr. Tim Berners-Lee did some other things, and it eventually got its name, HTML, and he was actually the founder of the web. So, but basically that's how the whole thing started at CERN. So that is a good history about that. Now, the other part of the history is basically the different versions that came out. Now, basically some people say these are correct, some people say they're not, but I mean, at least I found discrepancies on the web, but at least you have an idea of what's going on with the history of it. Basically, the first version came out where they started organizing it and actually had it so that it was an organization organized so that there were standards within it, and that was in 1991, and that was considered standard HTML. And then after that, it came out in 93, the HTML Plus, and then HTML 2.0 in 95, HTML 3.2 in 97, each one having more and more features. Now, the next one that's coming out is XTML5 in 2013. HTML5 already came out this year in 2012 when I'm doing these videos, so another version is going to come out next year. So Basically, you're going to have additional features, so it's getting better and better, and there's more features for a variety of other things, especially in the video realm and in the other realms, and they're just basically making it a much better scripting language. Now let's get into the basic of HTML. HTML's source code, it's basically a language, so it has source code. HTML source code is nothing more than text that can be easily created and edited using any text editor. That means you can just, anything that has basically standard ASCII text, you could, that creates or uses it, you can actually use to create your HTML code. Notepad, TextMate, Emacs, Vim. There's a whole bunch of different text editors that are out there. I'm using Notepad for this one, as I said earlier, Notepad++ for this particular video, because it helps with the structure of the language. It helps you find mistakes a little easier. So, but there's other editors that work real well with that too. I just like this one because it's quick, easy, cheap, and free. So some people like quick, easy, cheap, and free. So, and the next thing is browsers. Browsers interpret the HTML code. Basically, that's what displays the code. That's what you see. That's that's Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox. There's a whole bunch of them out there. Just whatever you want to use, whatever operating system you're using, that's what will bring it up. So that's just the browser is nothing more than what displays the actual HTML code. Now let's get into the basics of the language. HTML is a language for describing web pages. HTML is a markup language. That's what it says it is. So basically you're marking up the text. So what you're doing is you're describing the text. The tags describe the document content. HTML documents contain HTML tags and plain text. HTML documents are also called web pages. Well, when you start seeing when we create all this stuff, you'll see this a little bit more, and this will make a little bit more sense to it. It's a pretty standard way of dealing with how it. You'll understand more of a markup language. That's probably what I'll say right now, and we'll get into it a little detailed more, what a markup language does. HTML markup tags are generally called HTML tags. Pretty simple, huh? Basically, HTML tags are keywords, commands, instructions surrounded by angled brackets. Most HTML tags come in pairs like B and /B. The first tag starts the command, the second tag ends the command. So that's like a bold command there. So that starts it and ends it. So you have your start here and then your end here. And then the end tag is written just like the starting, but with a / that just lets it know it ends. So here's a good, down here's a little example. Tag name, tag content, the content itself, what's in between the tag, and then the tag name again, which closes it. HTML elements. Elements are tags. HTML tags and elements are elements often used to describe the same thing. Well, they're just, HTML elements is everything between the tags. So an element is nothing more. So the tag is the beginning and the ending. The element is the whole thing. That's probably an easier way of explaining it. The first tag is the beginning of the command, then the content then the content, then the second is the ending. So that's the element. That's the whole thing. Now a listing of what I'm going to cover. There's going to be basically 29 videos here. The first video that I'm doing here right now is the introduction. The next one's going to be a little bit about the editors and explaining editors and structure. The one after that will be programming organization. Then after that will be browsers, shortcuts, and miscellaneous commands. That's just to help you out, to basically make it quick and easier to work. HTML basics, that's pretty much what it says. How to create a web page, how to basically start your web page, the elements. After that, the attributes, headings, paragraphs, formatting, links, how to link from one page to the next. A little bit more about headings, style sheets. Now I'll get into that more when we get in there. Images, how to display images, how to do tables, lists, blocks, layout, forms, iframes, colors, color names, color values, how to integrate JavaScript, how to deal with entities, URL encoding, quick list. Basically, it's a quick list of what, well, you'll see when we get down to that. A summary of everything. So basically, when I'm going to end it, I should summarize it, and then a little bit about XHTML. So, and then after this set of videos, there'll probably be another set of videos which will go into more of the things in the new current version. This is more of the standard HTML, and we'll go into like HTML5. So that should end this introduction. Thanks for listening to me, and hopefully you learn a little bit from my classes here. Thank you. Bye.